Hi, this is Scott from Only Factory Direct, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the usage of your Podium Pro Audio MX602 and 1204 mixers. Now I'm going to use the MX602, and I'm just going to kind of go through a few of the functions and features of these and kind of explain what is in addition to this on the 12 channel unit. And just going to kind of go over a few things and troubleshoot a few things. I've gotten a few calls lately where people weren't getting any sound out of the main outputs and things like that. And there's some little buttons and things on here that sometimes during shipping might spring up or down or whatever the case may be. But I want to tell you a few little features and functions about this that may help you troubleshoot any kind of issues that you may run into. So here's the MX602. Okay, so here we have the MX602. Now, one of the main things that I get calls about in the tech department is that I'm getting sound from the headphones or the tape output, but I'm not getting any sound coming out of the main mix. Now, there's a button on here that says 2-track to main mix. All right, and there's also on the I think on the 1204 it says mix to main, but it's the same button, same function. And what this will do is when you hit track 2 main mix, now all this is going to take all of this output, and it's going to take your left and right, so your 2 tracks, left and right, and send it to your main mix output. Then you're going to get sound out of this output. As you can see now, I just pulled this one right out of a box, and that button was up. Okay, so I don't know if the manufacturer sends it and that's in that default mode, or if it's something where in shipping it just kind of gets jostled around. It doesn't seem like that would cause this to pop up, but at any rate, a lot of times those need to be depressed. So that little button there will send your mix out to the mains. Okay, and above that you'll see 2-track to control room. Now this is if you have another area or an isolated area that you want to send your mix to. Up here you have your main outs, so that's the 2-track to main is going to engage these outputs, which you have your main volume here. Okay, then you have your 2-track to control room. Okay, so control room here you have a left and right output here, so you can send these to another area or another zone and have the ability to turn that on or off with this button here as well. Okay, then phantom power, that's another one I get questions about a lot. What is phantom power? What do I need it for? Certain condenser mics and high-end recording mics are going to require additional power, additional magnetic pull, if you will, I guess is a good way to describe it. But adding that phantom power adds that extra pull from the microphone that will give it the power and the sound quality that it needs. So that's phantom power. You want to make sure that the phantom power is off if you're not using a phantom power mic. It really kind of heightens the input sensitivity a lot and things like that, and so you really only want to use that if you have a mic that's requiring phantom power, and it should list it and mark it in the whatever material you get with the mic. Then just kind of going over a few other little things. You've got a headphone level here with your headphone output up here. So when your headphones come out of there, you can control that level here. Auxiliary return, that's another one that I get questions about a lot. Auxiliary send and return is basically kind of like having a built-in effects loop. And what that means is you can take an external processor like a reverb unit or chorus, something like that, a harmonizer, and you can plug that into here, and it's almost like it builds that effect into the unit here. It brings it into where you can control it with this mixer. So when you're using your auxiliary returns and sends here, and you've got that all set up, you have on each individual channel here you have an AUX, which is an auxiliary control, which is going to give you the ability to add or decrease that amount of effect. So if you want to add a little bit of reverb to your first vocal, but you got a guitar, a mic on a guitar amp over here, and you don't really want reverb, you can turn that off. It just gives you more control and functionality that way. So that's going to be that as right there. Okay, moving on to the main functions of the mixer. You have, now this is a 6-channel mixer, so but it looks like you have 4 channels here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so 1 and 2 are going to be a dedicated mono, meaning one input, one sound source coming in, and so you're going to have a single channel for each of those. And then 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 are shared, or you could call them stereo channels. Now, basically, if you're miking a drum kit, for instance, and you want to mic your kick and snare with 2 cymbals, or I'm sorry, 2 mics. You got your kick and snare mic, and then so you want 2 overheads on your cymbals. You put your 2 overhead mics there, and you've got your cymbal control here, and then your 2 drums will both share that same channel. So that's one way to do it. CD players, things like that. If you're a DJ and you're using a CD player, you can run usually from RCA to 1/4 inch, and then you can plug left and right in there, and you'll have both stereo channels coming through that single channel, and you can raise and lower the volume and control it all that way. On the main channels, you have your mic input, which is the XLR, and you also have a line input, which is 1/4 inch. And then you have a gain control. And I do get questions a lot about where do I set my gain and things like that. Well, gain is kind of the input level, all right? And you don't really want to max it. You don't want to crank it up too much because you can get, distortion and things like that. I usually like to say set it at about, I guess this is 6 if this was a 1 through 10. I'd set it at about 6 or 1 o'clock if you're looking at it like a clock. And this gives you a nice overhead. If you need to increase it a little bit more or roll it back, you've got that ability. But yeah, I just wouldn't crank it right from the get-go. Then each channel here is going to give you EQ. You've got high, low, and mid. And you got your auxiliary pan. Panning is left and right, so you can switch from left to right. And then, of course, your level. So that's pretty much it. Aside from that, you have RCA tape in and tape out. This is great for if you're going to be using a CD player or something like that. You can run it directly into this with the RCAs. And then tape out is nice. They say tape out, it used to be cassettes were the way to go. You'd hook a cassette player up to that and record your mix or record your live show, whatever the case may be. Now you can do that with like a CD burner or something like that. But that's basically what the tape out is. It gives you an RCA output of your main mix. So everything on the 1204 series is pretty much going to be the same, except you're going to have additional channels, so it just gives you a few more channels. It has faders instead of a knob here, a few little different aesthetic differences, but functionality, it's all going to be the same. The way that this 2-track to main or main mix to main or mix to main on the other one, that function is going to work the same. So I hope this is helpful to you. I just wanted to give you a brief little overview, try to help troubleshoot any little issues or explain anything that may be unclear to you if you've got one of these mixers at home. And again, we thank you for your business, and check us out at onlyfactorydirect.com.